All right, Coach, another season, Team 23. Just discussed, obviously, the excitement this year with the first year in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, we're very excited to be in the Big 12, competing against the best softball that the RPI has told that it's the best softball for the last couple of years. But I think inside in our locker room, in our inner circle, we're approaching the season just as we would approach every single season because we prepare to play against the best year in and year out. So it seems really similar to each year. I think what makes it most special this year is not only the Big 12 aspect, but the 11 seniors that we have on the team, the 7 freshmen that we have on the team, and the 5 juniors and 4 sophomores. So those individuals, those women they're truly incredible. And this fall, winter, and now going into spring has been one of the most incredible experiences I've been through so far.
Coach, how is your scheduling philosophy through the years? From Clearwater to California really sets you guys up on this Big 12 schedule.
Yeah. Well, just getting a lot of good advice from, people that really know how the whole formula works has really helped out. But it's prepared us. There's been some really happy moments. There's been some sad moments. There's been some frustrating moments. But again, the way that we schedule and recruit is we tell them you're going to play against the best. And they want that, and that's why they come here. And so we are going to continue to do that. I think everyone thought, we're going to take it easy in the preseason because we are in the Big 12 this year. And I don't know, someone told me a 10-day span doesn't look too easy in our season. So we'll figure that out as we go along. But we want to be in the World Series. We want to be competing on the last day that the game of softball is played. And in order to do that, we have to be competing against the best every day.
To piggyback playing off the best, you were predicted number 5 in the preseason poll ranking. What does that mean to the program? What does that mean to you? What are your thoughts?
Well, competitively, obviously, I don't like it, but I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect fit. I think it gives us some respect, being ranked above other Big 12 opponents that have been in the conference. So it's telling our team, our program that, we see UCF. And then it's keeping us hungry. So as a coach, I love it. I want them to be fired up. I want them to have that little grit and passion for proving people wrong. But, we focus on ourselves a lot.
Is it fair, the fit?
I think right now, yeah, on paper, it is. You're only as good as your last game in everyone's mind, and that was not I think the game before that was a great representation of who we were, but the last game is, I think just the season got to us, and so I think they've been really training and preparing to make 5th just the starting point.
Speaking of last game, your last game at the Plex for the regular season is going to come up against Oklahoma. You also host Texas here as well. What was kind of your reaction when word came down from the conference that both of these teams are going to be coming to the Plex this season?
Yeah, well, it's exciting. I mean, if you think about the amount of people that we're going to draw, that not only here but on ESPN, it's exciting. We've always had some really big games here that have been televised, and I think the numbers have shown that they like watching not only UCF but the opponents that we play here. So I think it's great. And again, this is a really, really big senior class, and to have senior day against the 3-time in a row, I'm trying to not think about it, but 3-time in a row national champions, it's we like it. We like the challenge. We want it. And so I don't think it could be set up any better.
With so many seniors as well as other major faces returning from last year, how is this a different team this year than it was last season?
Yeah. Well, last season we had quite a bit of talent returning back. The only thing that we didn't have in the circle was innings, right? We had talent, but we didn't have innings. this year we come back with innings, and so I think that's definitely put a lot of confidence not only in the circle but within the team. We talk a lot about protecting the queen. Our pitchers as a unit are the queen. Knights are supposed to protect the queen's land, and well, the field is the pitcher's land. So we talk a lot about that, and having those innings, that experience, and some of the additions that we brought in, we're very confident that we'll be prepared for lineups out there, and there's going to be great ones that we're going to face this year, and we have a lot of great options to go to. And then just the seasoned roster that we have, the season lineup that we have, all starters returning, is very exciting, and has been keeping me up at night because I've tried to do lineups and just wondering how we can get more hitters in a 9, if we can like maybe put 10 or 11 and no one will notice us squeezing those hitters in. So
Is protecting the queen, you're continuing with that theme, or do you have another theme that you have?
yeah. So we're still protecting the Plex and protecting the queen. That carries with us always. And then this year it's hashtag STW. So that's all I can give to you.
You're saving what that stands for later, huh?
Yeah, they said that they can reveal it when they're in Oklahoma City. Not the first time, because we'll be in there for the Big 12 championships or conference tournament.
Which players have you been most impressed with going into this season?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I can't answer it because I'm going to list everybody on the team. We had our opening day dinner last night, and one of the things that I talked about is we have had some Sports Center defensive plays, and I could list probably 10 to 12 human beings on our team that would make the top 10. So it's not just like, oh, Jazz Williams at short only. Well, Aubrey Evans was playing on the opposing team against Jazz Williams in our Knots versus Knights and made this awesome double play. And, you know, maybe we won't see her at short this year, but just the amount of athleticism that we have on this team and their willingness to just go and do things, excuse me, has been awesome. So, you know, we talk about all of the pitchers that we have on our team and that we have that depth in our pitching roster. It's not easy to learn every pitcher, though. Okay? Pitchers are unique and they're special and great, but it's not easy to learn all of them, what their fields look like, their routines, and our defense is just molding to each one of them, and it's been really awesome to see. So most impressed with, it has changed every day.
You mentioned team dinner. How has the team chemistry been? How are all the players getting together in the locker room? How's the vibes?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's been a part of our program. Who we are is why we win. We totally believe in that. And our culture is always something that we think about and focus on first. But then you have these teams each year that, you know, they vibe together. And this team is definitely one of those teams. It's very mature. They are very mature. And that's so important because you deal with different things that can occur amongst a group of highly competitive women. And we do this to ourselves. We judge each other. We judge ourselves. We are so tough on each other and ourselves. And so the maturity that this group has had has allowed us to have fun, be those playground kids when we want to be, and like allow us to get to be vulnerable in front of each other. So the things that I've seen with this group is it's definitely, I'm learning from it. It surprised me. It's dropped me to the floor laughing. There's times where I'm given the face like, and then I'm like, okay. But it's just been such a great time watching the seniors cultivate what we are and who we are here. So it's been fun to watch, and the freshmen are not afraid to get after it. So
Can you speak on the importance of the fan fest with that?
yeah, so excited. It's going to be our second annual fan fest, and last year, you know, when you have those events, you're like, okay, are people going to show up? And last year, the attendance, even in the rain and location moving, it was it was such an honor to see how many people truly love not only our program, but the people in it. And so it's a fun time for our team to give back to Night Nation. We love to do that. They are servant leaders. They definitely get into the community, and so to be able to combine both and get them in our realm is so much fun. You know, they get to brag on our sport a little bit and have fun with it. And of course, selfishly, my kids get to be involved and my family, so I get to blend both as well.
Do you think the players are more excited about practicing what's in front of the water?
Yes, they do like to show off. No, I think part will be definitely fun. And that's the difference too. When I forget who asked the question. Every day they're out here, I think they believe there's an audience out here. And that's confidence. I know people might take it as a little bit of cockiness, but it's okay for us to be confident and to show our skills and show our passion, and they do it on the daily. So, you know, in my time here, Ela reminded me it's been 6 years, so that means my middle child was 6 months old when we got here. So it's like, wow, I feel like I just blinked. But in my time here, the vision that we had for this program was an idea. And to see it playing out and coming to, you know, here it is, it's real life and it's happening, it takes your breath away. And I'm gonna just pause for a second. It's darn contact. No, and just it takes your breath away because you have an idea, and yes, it could be a great idea from coming from one person, whether that's me or someone else. But all the human beings that put it into action has just been amazing. And so to watch that come about and put it all together, and we're sharing these moments and the history that we're making, it's just been such an incredible journey. And I have no clue what your question was now, but that's what I wanted to say.
Coach, you've always been preaching protecting the queen. You have two new queens coming in to the pitching rotation with Ava and Sona. What do these two transfer portal additions bring to the rotation?
Yeah, so the two transfer pitchers, they bring experience, which is nice, and that's different from last year. You know, our transfer pitcher actually brought experience in other parts of the game, and then found her pitching voice, if you will, here. But with Sona and Ava, they've had lots of success. Ava had success against us, and that's what I loved most. Kama Woodall, if you remember her name, also had success and was feisty against us. So I was like, well, if she's in that portal, we're going to snag her. And then Sona has had success on both sides of the ball as well. Excuse me. So they bring experience, different looks, you know, being able to have a lefty that throws a little different from our other annoying lefty, Angie DeVoe. And I call her annoying with all the love, because that's what I want her to be out there. Hitters do not like her, and I want them to continue to keep feeling that way. But yeah, so Ava brings that lefty aspect, but a different look than Angie. And then Sona, I've never seen our machines show that velocity consistently. So excited to see where you know, she takes us with that. So, and then we also have our freshman Isabella Vega. She's a spinner. She's also an annoyer from the right side, I'm gonna say, and highly competitive and super tough on herself, and has high expectations. And usually, those are the ones that become great. And so, having all of those in our bullpen have been a really fun time, a challenging time. They definitely keep me on my toes in there. And the hitters are starting to kind of put the ball in play a little bit more off of them. And so I've been going back and watching film like, okay, what are we doing wrong? Oh no, our pitchers, what's happening? I'm like, no, those are good pitches. So it's making our hitters better, which in the end, I'm hoping all of it comes together at the right time, and we're a darn tough team to play.
Coach, you've had success in the transfer portal. As you're constructing a roster, how do you find the right balance between
Well, that's what's so incredible about this group is, I've talked to the freshmen quite a bit because there's 7 of them. And the idea was when we first started recruiting them that they're going to come in and replace the team that they were all supposed to graduate last year. And replace is a terrible word. Ela, you might have to come up with another one for me.
Have an opportunity.
Yes, have an opportunity to take on and take over from where they left off. That's awesome. That's why we have Elo here. And so, but they know. I said, look, when we recruited you, we weren't even in the Big 12, and we didn't know we were going to the Big 12, and we hadn't been to a super regional. There's just so many things that have occurred since that time, and so they're bought in. They're bought in. They understand it. And I said, it's not this. This journey is not a one-year journey. You're going to be a part of something for a long time, and so we have these genuine, authentic talks of, and they're uncomfortable sometimes to tell somebody like, hey, you're awesome and you might not play a lot, but next year when the 11 seniors are off doing awesome things in the world, you're gonna have to take the torch and go with it. And you see their eyes like light up, like, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I was 18, 19 years old if I would have that same response. So the people is how I would answer it. Recruiting in the transfer portal, people talk about it's good, it's bad. We've had success because of the people that we've recruited. Some people told me, don't go after so-and-so, don't go after so-and-so. And not because of anything bad, just like, oh, you've already got this. And I'm like, yeah, but this person could make us better in this way, on and off the field. And I'm going to talk about it. Sarah Willis is somebody that you notice Sarah Willis. Right away, you walk into the room, you notice Sarah Willis. And it's hard to approach it if you're not comfortable and know somebody. And we empower Sarah Willis. We want her to be who she is in her best, version of herself. Whether it's wearing her Miami Vices or whatever they're called, those big, loud sunglasses, her wonky wind up that she has, all the little things, that she does, but I don't know a better change up in the game. And so I empower that. And I'll also tell you that she's one of the strongest women that I've ever coached and the hardest worker. And you look at all those things and you think like, oh, that person's kind of flashy. I don't know how hard they work. Well, they judge the book by the cover. She's amazing. And she will be the loudest one out there. We often say like, hey, Sarah's got to go play a position. I can't handle her in the dugout with us, because she's so just passionate about her team and wants to win. And so I say that by all of the people that we've recruited in the transfer portal, there's a story and a connection. And, when you start to love the people in your program, sky's the limit. And I'm going to say vice versa. They do that to me too. I'm who I am today because they love me just as much. They hold me accountable just as much. So, did I answer it, Trace? Gosh. I don't even want to think about it. I'm going to have lots of sunglasses and maybe a hat on, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like. I started to think about it last night, and I stopped because, every senior has a special place in my heart. Shannon Doherty was talking at the podium last night, and I got to see this young woman grow from a child when she got here to this amazing human being that's teaching me things while she's talking in front of this group about our program. So I think it's great that we're going to continue to keep playing after that, and we know that, and so I'm going to hold on to that. But it's going to be an honor and a privilege to celebrate them here, and what better way than to do it against the best team out there in the last couple of years.
Last year, the team had 14 backers. You had DeVoe, Shannon Doherty, Jay Cody, and Ashley Griffin. This year,
Yeah, we actually didn't have team captains this year because we had so many seniors, and I felt like they all needed to bring their voice. Last year, the captains that you mentioned, none of them were seniors. And so there is something to say about playing for your seniors and how far your senior leadership will take you. And we have 11 of them, and they're all different in so many different ways. We have quiet ones, we have loud ones, we have funny ones, we have serious ones. And I wanted them all to have an opportunity to have a voice and feel like this is their team. And so I didn't want to divide that class this year, and they have been operating in such a great way. I when I say that I don't have to ever deal with like the wrong clothing item that a team is wearing at one time or not being somewhere, I never have to worry about those things. I get to worry about who's the leadoff hitter, what pitch are we focusing on today, and so it's actually been it's been working for us.
Coach, how is your pitching staff different from years past?
Well, there's a lot more of them. In the past, we've had some, and even before my time, we've had some incredible pitchers that sometimes have had to been the one horse in the barn, and so it's awesome to know that we have people that are of that talent, and they also have other people with them. We actually were just on a call on Friday with 3 of them. Mackenzie Otis is next week. Allison Kime, Shelby Turnier, and Aaliyah White. And they spoke with our pitchers and just kind of sharing their story. And then some of them said, well, I'm glad I pitched when I did. The hitters have so much information now. And that's what it is, the pitchers being able to blend together to get outs. And I think that's the difference from, all of them are great. They're elite pitchers. They all have it. But the hitters have it a lot more now. And so just keeping them off base even longer, and especially in a 3-game series, it's going to take the whole roster.
How would you describe the position battle at catcher?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question because we had the situation we ran into last year with the injury. Ashley Griffin comes back stronger than I think she was even before the injury. And Carson Fryer did such an amazing job stepping into that role for us with an unknown of, who's going to be our pitcher. And just did a really good job of doing whatever the team needed for us. And so that's going to be tough, like you said. And then bringing in Kylie Strott, freshman, who also is highly talented, has played on a high-level travel ball team, and can swing it. It's going to be fun. And I think we're looking at more of, we're going to be able to keep everyone fresh this year. We're not going to have to, kind of just like run them into the ground playing all these games and the innings that we're playing. And like I said, I try not to look into the future too much, but second and third weekend, it's 2 travel weekends, and we're playing some of the highest RPI games straight out the gate. So that's going to require a lot of emotional, physical, wear on the body, and to be able to have other people to go for, to go in that position is going to be really important. So
Committee approach?
In the preseason, I would say yes. And we've done that in the past too, where we've maybe matched a catcher with a pitcher, kind of seen who's worked better with certain pitchers and blended that. So, yeah. But I mean, Ashley Griffin and Carson have done great for us the last 2 years.
I want to go on a similar topic for game management, committee approach, things like that. But you talk about depth, and obviously you have a lot of newcomers, a lot of seniority. But what do you think it looks like from year to year as you've been here the last 6 seasons, or now 6 seasons?
Yeah.
But you don't see just your everyday starters anymore. You see so much situational lineup, getting to put people in outfield just based on scores and where you're at in the game, things like that.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like for you this season?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I love that question because I feel like I've been playing that game for a while. If we had 17 position players, you'd see my lineup at the end of the game has changed and scratched out a lot because we use everybody and their strengths in the team. As we've kind of gone further, I feel like we've had more players that can do more things, and so maybe that's kind of lessened the amount of opportunities that we've made as many switches. But it's also, like I said, you have 11 seniors, and senior bodies have gone through the ringer, especially if it's 5-6 years that they've been there. We get to keep them fresh and not worry about, are we able to, give this gal a break today, or even just a couple innings. Like she's tired, her recovery is not where it needs to be. We can do that and still be competitive and win a game. And I know there's some programs out there that do it really well, and they're so darn fresh and ready at the end of the year. And so we're learning, we're learners, and we're figuring it out to have the best recipe of still being feisty and rowdy as we are, because that's who we are. We're gritty, we're competitive, chippy, but also being fresh and recovered. And so I think it's going to allow us to do that. I'll let you know after the season.
Yeah. Do you guys measure recovery in any kind of way? Like, do you guys have baselines, things like that?
Yeah. So we're starting to get into that more. Right now with the resources that we do have, we have a few of our two-way players, like our two-way pitchers, getting monitored. And the goal is to be able to have everybody. What's been awesome is our women are kind of jumping into that and doing it on their own. And then we have the resources to help them with our nutritionists and our strength and conditioning and our trainers, our physical therapists. But, if someone's in the red for recovery, with the Whoop or any of those other devices, we know, okay, we're going to listen to it. They're not just dogging it. We're going to listen to it, and we're going to give them a day off. And that's something that I've been doing with Sarah Willis, and she gets mad at me. Sona also, like, they'll be like, I could do more. Nope, you've already hit your pitch count, or you've already hit your limit. Because they're already throwing at that high velocity right now, and we want to keep it the entire year. And so it's something that we're learning and really taking into consideration. And we'll make some mistakes with it, but it's so important. Recovery, sleep, so important. We're finding that it's helping with preventing injuries, having people heal quicker, and then performance.
Coach, you said the team would not reveal the new acronym until they make a return trip to Oklahoma City for the NCAA tournament. What is it going to take for the team to make that return trip to Oklahoma City, especially with this contending with this Big 12 competition?
Yeah. Well, regardless of how good any team is, to get to the World Series and be, the last 8 standing, it's not easy. I don't care if you have the best team out there, the best roster, the best pitcher. It's not easy. And so there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of not only talent preparation, and then sometimes chance and luck also, go into it. And we're just going to make sure that we have left no page unturned. And we have done everything in our power so that we have no regrets in our pursuit to OKC in the end of May, beginning of June.
How excited are you to just get going?
So excited. I'm tired of facing our batters. I know our pitchers are like, they'll throw these great pitches and they're getting to them. Our hitters, they've been like having some good swings, and then our pitchers get them. We need to face other people. But I'm so excited for it, and I'm so excited to see Night Nation out here, and the left field lounge out there. I can't go without talking about them, and just getting them getting after it, because they have trained and worked so hard, and it's time to start seeing some of those rewards.
Again, with a lot of seniors being on the team and it being their almost like their last dance for the season, what would you say is your favorite memory with the seniors?
Favorite memory with them so far? There's so many. I definitely, last night is going to be a core memory for sure, of taking a picture with all of them, and they're all so beautiful and confident. wearing these amazing outfits, all different styles. They got the cool Jordans on with their awesome outfits, and just smiling and having fun and getting excited. Like watching some of our newcomers, like one of our Sona, and seeing her face and even Stormy's face when we sold, I think it was cookies for $1,500 last night, and they were just like, I made those in my oven. It was just really cool to see how you can see him buying in more and more. That, and then another favorite memory was 2 days after the regional up at Florida State. They wanted to meet and talk about what we're going to do next year. And so I remember being in the conference room and being around the table, and they said, like, this is it. We don't want to leave anything left. We want to go for it. And they talk about it. If we don't go to the World Series, and like I don't slow them down. I'm going to let them keep doing. They said that would be us underperforming, and they believe that. And again, I'll still say it's really tough to get there, and some people in the, right here know what it's like. I've been a part of great teams as a coach and a player, and I've always been one game away. So it takes a lot more than just talent and just really good team culture, but this team wants it, and they typically get a lot of things that they want and go after.
You got Becca Mueller now running your offense. You brought her in from Cal, and of course Cassidy Brewer, former UCF player and part of your staff. Talk about your staff. They're expanding, obviously, and Becca in particular running the offense.
Yeah, it's Becca's brain is just so awesome when it comes to how she approaches the hitters and what she plans with them on the daily. And it's never easy for them. Like some days she'll come in, she's like, all right, we need to do like just a BP day. And I look at her like, you sure? Are you feeling okay today? Because we have these, boxes that they have to stand on to hit rise balls. And sorry, Becca, if I'm giving up your secrets, but it's been so nice to see the the specified training that they've had, and they want to come in for more and hit. And then we'll be driving up and they're hitting on their own, and they're not just doing the things they want to do, they're doing the things that she's been asking them to do in practice. So that's been so nice to see that. And she said, I want to be a part of a program where pitching is important, because you can't outscore people that are scoring too many runs on your pitching. And so hearing that and having those two things align have been really nice. She has specific benchmarks that she wants them to reach throughout the game. It's very clear, and it's been such an awesome journey this, I think, short 6 months, watching what our hitters have done, and how much they've grown. And then having Cassidy Brewer back is, having an alumni back. That I think that's a coach's dream, is to be able to have, former players come back and work for you, with you, because they know all the things that are important to you, and then they have pride in the program that they played for, and want to continue to keep going with it. So it's been nice to see that. I told Cassidy if she wants to coach with me, she's going to have to go do some time and years within another program, and she picked University of Florida to do that and did a great job over there. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to bring you back. So it's been such a great transition with those two.
Coach, anytime I ever mention your name to other coaches, it is always just how competitive you are as a player, as a coach, things like that. How do you manage that? Coaching now, obviously surrounding yourself with other great past players, coaches.
Yeah. It's not easy being competitive. I have to definitely attribute, I have to thank my parents, my family, and my siblings, because we had 4 of them. At one point, I think we were all sharing a room, and so it was always competing for anything, the remote, who got to go to the bathroom first, anything like that. But to be as competitive, and I'm starting to realize I'm getting wiser and maturing. That means I'm aging. That people are still important, and you can still be competitive and be a good person. And it's funny when we get to meet people that maybe I've competed against on the field, and they'll come and talk to me, and they're like, "Whoa, you're funny, you're nice," and I'm like, "Yeah," but they only know what I was supposed to look like, or what I looked like in the circle or in the coach's box. But I just, it's important to me. Somebody told me once, one of my strengths is significance. And at first I was like, well, that's kind of I don't know if I like that strength, being significant. Like, I have to be important. But I do think it ties into competitiveness, because what I'm going to be involved with has to have some significance in some way. And so, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it to our best ability. And if our best ability that day is 50%, you're going to get 100 of it. And having all those competitive people around me makes me better, makes us better. But yeah, I have learned that I can still be that competitive person and then be who I am off the field.
What are you hoping to see from the team in the first 2 games?
Playing loose, having fun, taking risks. And seeing how we do with this 20-second pitch clock. We've been practicing it a lot, so I'm really interested to see how we respond to that, but from a tactical standpoint. But playing loose, having fun, smiling, celebrating each other, and then doing my favorite cheer in the dugout. They always do my favorite cheer in the dugout when we score a run. So I'm excited for that first one of the year.
You mentioned that you learn lessons from your players. But with the seniors leaving and the new freshmen coming in, what lessons have you noticed that you learned from seniors and freshmen?
Well, the freshmen definitely teach me to relax and understand that, sometimes I think all these things are so important, and they have to happen right now, and they come in just like, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, I need to be calm and relaxed just like them and enjoy, is it sunny out? I need to go check it out. They've taught me to stop and smell the roses. I'll go to jazz for the seniors on this one, because there's days where I'll feel sorry for myself that I didn't get sleep because of my kids, or it was a rough drop off, and then she comes in walking out like she slept for 15 hours and maybe had her hair done and her nails done and everything else. She's walking in, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing?" She's like, "I'm doing great." And I was like, "Did you get some good sleep last night?" "Nope." Like, I got to pick it up. So she's definitely taught me that we can do anything as women. We can still be the badass mom, excuse my language, and look good while we're doing it, and be really good on the field. So I definitely learned a lot from her. And then from our other women, they remind me of some of our core values. They just keep going back to it. Like something will happen, they'll be like, "Hey, Coach Bear, we need to talk about team first." Okay, all right, let's talk about it. So yeah, I would say those are some of the learning moments.
Going back to the dugouts here, are we is that wait and see?
Oh yeah, I would not do it any justice. It's amazing. It's all in. They line up, they sway side to side, and then they do their cheer, and I get the chills every time they do it. Even I don't hear any of their cheers, but I hear that one. And whether last year I was in the dugout, this year I'm going to be back out again. Every time they do it, I get the chills, and I'm like, all right, let's get some more.
Does
So.
anybody lead the effort in that, or is that just like a team thing? Who comes up with the cheers?
They kind of all do it. I want to say Katie Burge and Angie DeVoe will come up with some. Sometimes the freshmen will bring something. TikTok is, they'll have some from there. I think the pretty girls walk like this when we walk, and then they do some funny walk, and so it's all different things. Yeah.
Guys all set?
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Coach.
Thanks for going through the rain.